Hey, what's up, guys? It's your boy Young Scoots, and we're back here with another episode of Shots Called. Today, we're doing another one of these tier list videos, shooting guard wise. You guys already know what these are about, so we're just ranking everyone. Let's get to it. It looks like first off, we got Anthony Edwards. I'm gonna put him in starter. He's right there at being a star, especially rookie year with the number one overall draft pick, right? For Anthony Edwards coming into the league. He started out cold and then he started picking up midway through the season, averaging like 20, 21 points per game. Decent passer, defender, but he's really good to watch. Just one of those explosive players. Bogey, he's also a solid starter. I don't see Kevin Huerter in here, but they're both essentially the same. Um, Really good three-point shooters. Bogey especially can take the ball in and score in the paint. Not really a good defender like Kevin Huerter is, but you take some away from one player, you add them to the other, vice versa. They're about the same. Solid starters, both of them. Bradley Beal, he's S tier for me. After this season, well, last season and this season especially, he really proved that he can be a franchise piece, especially after John Wall leaving, averaging like 31 points a game. I think he was up there at 32 for a while there before Steph Curry just went nuclear. But Bradley Beal's had a consistent, really amazing like all NBA season, especially helping lead that Wizards team, which was riddled with injuries all year long, to the playoffs. Here's Buddy Hield. I love Buddy Hield, but he's just been regressing every single year, and it's kind of weird to me. He came onto the Kings from the DeMarcus Cousins trade, and after being moved from the Pelicans, he went upward. And then the final year that David Yoger, or is it Yeager, who was the coach, and they did Luke Walton after that, and then slightly down. But that last season that they beat the Lakers record when LeBron was first on the team, he had a phenomenal year. This year he's still kind of solid, but he's really been hot and cold. This is the other Holiday brother, bench player for me. Let's see, CJ McCollum. I'm gonna put him in star. He's consistently in the 20 to 25 point range. He's never made an all-star team, which blows my mind. But great three-point shooter, great playmaker. He's been Dame's Robin for years at this point. Just really great player all around. Let's see. This is Booker. Oh, he's either top of star, he's S tier for me. I'm gonna decide that later, but Booker's in the finals right now. But he's really cold right now, but all season long he's been killer, especially with Chris Paul helping him find some really good shots, and Booker's a really good playmaker himself. So Danny Green, he's a bench player to me. I'm gonna put him ahead of Holiday though. One of the best defensive twos in the league. But some days he just doesn't have it shooting wise, especially in the playoffs, man. I don't know what's up with him in the playoffs, but he just does not shoot well. This is, God, I know exactly who this is, but I'm blanking on the name, so I'm going to move him to the bottom. It's going to come up eventually. Dylan Brooks, or is this Anderson? I'm going to move this down as well. DiVincenzo, solid starter. I'm going to put him ahead of Edwards just because what he brings to the Bucks as a secondary playmaker, as a really consistent 10 points a night scorer, who can play phenomenal defense on, I want to say 1 through 4, but 1 through 3. Great defender, great playmaker, hits clutch shots too. He's good for what he's needed for. This is Harden. Oh, come on, man. He's top of S tier. James Harden's had MVP seasons for years. Or he went, I wouldn't say MVP caliber season for years. Great playmaker. One of the greatest scorers of all time. I think he had like a 36-point season average. Just great. And this year what he's doing on the Brooklyn Nets. I think he averaged like 11 assists a game, somewhere in that range, shooting pretty well. Of course, he got injured in the playoffs, but you can't really help that kind of thing. But yeah, overall, definite S tier. Looking at Gary Trent Jr. for now, he's bottom line starter. I would put him ahead of Buddy Hield though. He's shown flashes of being like a third or second option on your team, but he's still too young for it to like really come into fruition. So we'll see within like the next 2 or 3 years what he does on the Raptors or if he gets moved again. But I'm going to put him towards the bottom of solid starters. Jaylen Brown to me is a star. He's ahead of CJ. Great defensively, really great shooter. Can do like pretty much everything really well. That's a good thing about like the core of the Celtics. When you have like Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum, they're essentially the same, but one of them's more aggressive and the other one's better from three. And Jaylen Brown is just really good, like star-wise. He should have been all-star. He got snubbed this year for all-star. Jordan Clarkson, I'm going to put him in the middle of starters. He doesn't really have anything going for him except for scoring-wise, but watching him score, like he just takes like insane shots. It doesn't make any sense how anything he takes goes into the hoop, So just watching him is phenomenal. Great offensive player, but beyond that, there's nothing else. Jimmy Butler, I'm going to put him at top of star. Well, tied with Booker. I'm not sure if I would put Booker S tier yet. But Jimmy Butler, he had that amazing Cinderella playoff run where he led the Heat to the finals against LeBron. Of course, they lost in 2 because the Heat were like really injured. But Jimmy Butler's been one of the best defensive players in the league for years. Doesn't really have much of an outside game, but when it comes to mid-range and taking it in, and especially in clutch moments, you catch Jimmy Butler where the Heat are down by like 5 and you need some buckets, go to Jimmy Buckets, man. No one else except for like Chris Paul in those clutch moments, man, that can hit the mid-range, except for Jimmy Butler. This is Richardson, Dallas Mavericks. I'm going to put him as a bench this year. He's been injured most of the year, but he was solid playing for, was it the Heat or was it the 76ers beforehand? It was one of the two. And he had a really good year there, and then he gets in the Mavericks, gets injured almost immediately in the season, and doesn't come back the same. So I'm just going to stick him on bench for now. He might have an up year next year, but let's see. Klay Thompson, he's been injured all year, but he is S tier to me. In fact, he's above Beal. Great defensively, one of the greatest three-point shooters of all time with Steph. Everyone knows Klay. We'll see how he comes back next year, but that doesn't take away from him just being an all-around S tier shooting guard, just in general. Kevin Porter Jr. I like this game. He's a solid starter. I would put him in behind Edwards. He had that 50-point game this year. He's proving that he wants to be a point guard, and he's improving on his passing skills. Decent shooter, decent mid-range. I haven't seen too much of his games, but from what I have seen of the Rockets this year, he's really improving and fast. Lou Dort, I'm going to put him in solid starter behind Bogey. Really good defensive player. Still needs to find his shot. Let's get back to it. The cat walked in, kind of distracted me. She's over there in the chair. Pitch black. Don't know if you can see her. But I think I was at Lou Dort, one of the better defensive guards as well. I hold defense to a high regard. And he's really just elevating super fast. So that was the point I was making before. Luke Kennard, bench player. When he was on the Pistons, he was a solid starter. But when he got to the Clippers, when he was traded, he kind of regressed, and then he kind of came back up a little, and then he went back down, and then he came back up. Really streaky player to me, but I think he just performs better when more of the offense is in his hands, Malik Monk, man, I'm also going to put him in bench. I haven't really seen too much of his game. I know he's supposed to be like that second option to Kimba when he was drafted, but really haven't really seen much from him. Also, I haven't really seen many Charlotte Hornet games. I've seen a couple like when they play Atlanta, but outside of that, I'm not really too well versed with how Charlotte's doing. Um, Marcus Smart, I would put him in star, but as for right now, he would be top of starters for me. Um, Also a really good defensive player. He has the playmaking down. I wouldn't say he's a clutch player for sure, but he's really streaky. But one thing that's for certain about him, he's always in the conversation for all the NBA defensive team, and he deserves to be a starter, especially for the Celtics next year. We'll see how it turns out. Maybe they run a lineup of Pritchard, Smart, Brown, and Tatum, and whoever they have at center, but we'll see. Um, let's see, Norman Powell. He's also a solid starter. He's up there. Wait, is Norman Powell even a starter? Or not a starter? Is Norman Powell even a shooting guard? I think he played small forward for most of the year with Portland. I'm not too entirely sure. But even if he was on at the shooting guard for Portland, he would still be a solid starter. He's just one of those consistent players who can take it in. He can shoot mid range. He can shoot three. Not the greatest defender, but he's so good offensively that you have to respect his shot. This is Tyrese Halliburton. You know, had an amazing rookie year. I would put him up here with Edwards and Kevin Porter Jr. I'd put him ahead of Kevin Porter Jr. Just really, really solid player all around. He came into the league. He knew exactly what his role was and really good defensively. He's just been so consistent all year long. I love watching this guy play. So just one of those great players that you should be on the lookout. Might never be a 20 point per game scorer, but he's always going to be one of those better six man like Jamal Crawford or Lou Will or Jordan Clarkson even. But he just has more to his game than just shooting. This looks like who is this? I know exactly who this is. We're gonna move him down and blanking on names, and it's bad for me. SGA star. I'm gonna put him above CJ as well. Just straight elevation. Everyone's really high on SGA. I'm pretty high on him too. Just constantly growing as a player, and I could see in the next 2 years he would be S rank. Is this Shake Milton? Is okay. I thought he was Philly's backup point guard with whoever Tyrese Maxey. Bench for right now though. Bench for right now. In fact, ahead of Luke Kennard, but behind Danny Green, Donovan Mitchell. Man, how I want to put Donovan Mitchell in S tier. Just the way that Donovan Mitchell plays, you can see the Dwayne Wade influence in him, and way better shooter than Dwayne Wade to a decent defender too. Not the greatest defender, but like decent, enough to where like he can guard the perimeter. Man, he's in the Booker tier for me. I see it all the time. Everyone's like, Booker and Mitchell, which one's better and who's going to take the next leap? They're essentially ranked the same to me. Seth Curry, Seth Curry had a great year and a great playoff run too. I'm going to put him in starter. When Steph Curry's on fire, he's on fire. He can't do anything else but shoot threes. I would put him ahead of Heel too, and ahead of Trent Jr. behind Dort because he doesn't really play defense like that. But all right, where was I? The camera died on me, so we'll just try and get through this. I don't know how much battery's in this, in my secondary battery, but let's see. We're Seth Curry, just phenomenal season all around. Really solid three-point shooter. You know what you're gonna get. Sometimes he'll take it in. He's a decent passer. Doesn't really play too much defense, but when you give him the ball beyond the arc, it's just like watching his brother, just to a kind of lesser degree. Yeah, man, do I put him in bench or start? I'm still kind of iffy on this. I'll figure it out later, but for sure he's definitely in here. Tim Hardaway, he's also a solid starter. I'm gonna put him in this bogey to Jordan Clarkson range. You know exactly what you're going to get out of him. Someone who's going to get you a bucket. You put him in the game to get you a bucket. Terrence Ross, he had a good season this year, I'm pretty sure. I have to look up his stats. We'll be back on that one. Tyler Hero, after this season, I'm going bench with him. He would be top of bench though. He kind of regressed this season. Everyone was really fucking high on Tyler Hero last year. I was too, expecting him to take a massive leap, like maybe not 20 points per game, but somewhere around like 17, 18 with improved defense and playmaking. But he hasn't done that. He kind of regressed a little bit. The whole thing about him being a star online and all that getting to his head. Not really too sure if that's what it is, but I can still see him elevating as a really good player in the near future. Victor Oladipo, is he still a star? When he was playing, he definitely had flashes and then he got injured. I'm going to put him up here behind Marcus Smart for now because it's still kind of iffy on how he's going to come back from this most recent injury because he didn't even play in the playoffs for the Heat. So we'll just have to see how he comes back next year for those rankings. So we'll figure it out then. Devontae Graham, man, I love Devontae Graham's game. And I think he was in the point guard list. I consider him more of a point guard, not a shooting guard. This Will Barton, I'm going to put him in bench. Decent defender. Streaky shooting-wise. Yeah, so bench for me. Zach LaVine, is he a star? Yeah, he would be in the CJ McCollum tier right here. And this, man, the last year's rookie for the Knicks. We're gonna go and look this up. Man, I can't believe I'm blanking on this dude's name. This is ridiculous. RJ Barrett, come on, man. RJ fucking Barrett. Great year. He's also in starter. He's almost there at star. He's right here, like right below Oladipo and right ahead of Norman Powell. He really improved this year, shooting-wise especially, being that second option on the Knicks, maybe even third if you want to put Derrick Rose ahead of him. But to me, he was the second option on the Knicks. Really improved shooting-wise. He's really pulling it together. So I see him here as kind of fringe star, but definitely solid starter. Man, and these last one, Terrence Ross, I said a great rater. I put him at the end of starter. He's kind of like Buddy Hield. I don't know how he did this year. In fact, we'll just look it up. He put up 50. Okay, yeah, average Terrence Ross numbers. I think he shoots pretty well, right? From 3, he shot 33. Okay, it's kind of a less efficient year than he usually has. How many games did he play too? He played 46. I didn't realize he was injured. I haven't watched that many Orlando Magic games. He's always been a solid starter to me. I'm gonna put him. He's in I think he's behind Bogey, but ahead of Lou Dort for sure. Is this Dylan Brooks or is this the other dude on the Grizzlies? The people who I don't know, based off of faces. Yeah, it's Dylan Brooks. Okay. How did he do this year? I really only watched. Oh yeah, he did have an amazing season. I haven't watched that many Grizzlies games, but he's definitely up here solid for sure. I think he definitely had a really progressing season for him. He's also up here with that bogey to Tim Hardaway. I'm also going to put him behind Bogey just because Bogey hits in like really clutch moments. He's been progressing every year, really good. I didn't know he did this well this year. Okay. The only time I watch Grizzlies is to watch Ja Morant, and the only person I pay attention to on the Grizzlies is Ja Morant. So I have to pay more attention next year to how he plays. And Spurs, man, I know the face, but is that Derek White? Is that Derek White? No way. I thought Derek White had less hair than that. Is that him? Just with, bro, that's Derek White. Wow. Wow. Okay. Um, the way I see it, Derek White's also one of those consistent starters. To me, he's more of a point guard, but I see even here on Basketball Reference, uh, they have him as a shooting guard and a point guard. I know for years when it was between White and the other starter who is for passing me by in my name right now. Let's see. Him and Murray, I know it was a big thing. Like they were interchanging them in the lineups. Like some games, one would start as point and the other would start at point. The Spurs weren't really too sure at that time. But for me, he's always solid. You know exactly what you're going to get out of him. He's in here with the Bogey, Dylan Brooks, Terrence Ross, Tim Hardaway crowd. I'm going to put him there. But yeah, I don't have any trash players. I mean, if it was all of the shooting guards, like all 60, I think 61 shooting guards in the entire league, we'd have some trash in here. Like I put Reggie Bullock in there and a few others, but they didn't really have those in here. And I couldn't find one with all of the players that are in this position. But yeah, as you see, S tier stars, like just the people you know, and everyone around is just all solid, just to me, in the shooting guard list as well. So hope you guys enjoyed the video. This is Young Scoots. Shots called.